Have you ever noticed how everybody is kind of an influencer nowadays? Like not just me and you, but also you'll see your cousin uploading life updates, you'll see your real estate agent posting daily vlogs, and even your coworker is going to be uploading random gym videos. Everybody's kind of trying to be an influencer, and it's not just them. Rather, the internet kind of made all of us influencers. Yeah, not gonna lie, it's kind of weird, so let's talk about it. Alright, so here we are in 2025, and the line between being a content creator or even say an influencer and just trying to be a regular person online is starting to get really blurry, more blurry than ever before. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is back in the early days of social media, posting was just meant to be posting. You go on Facebook or Instagram, you throw up some picture of your night out with your friends, and sure, yeah, it would be a nice picture, but at the same time, you wouldn't be too particularly worried about how it matches your aesthetic, or how it matches the rest of your feed, or your branding, or any of that stuff. It was just a picture that was meant to be there so your friends and family could see it, and also it could be a memory that's there for the long term. In other words, what I mean is you weren't really thinking about content, you were thinking about life. And fast forward to now, for a lot of people, even the smallest moments in life have started to look like opportunities for content. I mean, just think about it. Small moments like brunch with your friends, sunsets, random nights out, all of these start to feel like whole productions for a lot of people where you have to have the right aesthetic for your TikTok and all of that stuff. And honestly, I don't think that's necessarily a great thing. So when did existing online on apps like TikTok become a full-time branding exercise? And when did life itself start to become content? Well, it's kind of interesting when you think about it. I don't think there was one big moment that changed everything at once. Rather, there was a lot of small changes that actually added up to something big over time. I mean, you've probably seen it in your own life. At first, you try to pick a cool username, then you're like, okay, maybe I want to pick an aesthetic for my feed over time. After that, you decided, hey, this is really popping off. Let's put more effort into editing these photos. After that, you're like, hey, I'll pull the trigger. Let's make my account public. And next thing you know, you're finding your niche or building an audience. And it all just added up over time. And before you realized it, you're not really sharing life anymore. Rather, you're marketing it. And honestly, I don't think it's a good thing. It's gonna be exhausting for a lot of people. Branding yourself is not something we as human beings should be doing 24/7. Thinking about yourself, hey, should this moment actually belong to my page? Is this worth posting? Would it go viral? That's not something that's great for a lot of us. And the crazy thing is nowadays, you don't need millions of followers or expensive camera equipment or a whole team to actually become an influencer. I mean, 10 years ago, you needed something like this. You needed an expensive camera, you needed to know how to use it, you needed to know how to edit videos, you needed to know how to write scripts, all of that stuff. Nowadays, everybody has a phone in their pocket. It has apps like ChatGPT that can help you write scripts. Not that I recommend doing that, but you could if you want. You can also have the amazing camera in the iPhone. You can have editing apps like CapCut. All of it's in your pocket nowadays. But it's not only because we have better cameras in our hands nowadays, but also brands have learned that the average viewer trusts a normal person on social media more than these huge celebrities. So now if you got 1,000 followers and decent engagement and you're uploading consistently, boom, you're a micro-influencer. Suddenly everything that you were uploading just for fun, like daily vlogs, get ready with me, outfit of the day, all of that could now be seen as opportunities for lifestyle branding. In other words, it's a lot easier nowadays to become a tiny little brand without even meaning to. And even putting that aside, it's just very easy with the social media platforms we have today to actually go viral and get fame. I mean, like compared to 10 years ago where the main social media platform to get viral was YouTube because Instagram and TikTok algorithms weren't exactly a thing. It was a lot harder to beat the algorithm back then compared to now. Nowadays, if you're actually posting consistently and having a niche that you're carving out that people actually are interested in, it's very easy to make it onto the algorithm. And once again, after you beat the algorithm, you start performing, you start to get the fame, the money, the brand deals, all of that dream influencer lifestyle. But there is a big caveat there. Once you actually start to perform for the algorithm, you're not exactly posting for yourself. You're just trying to consistently beat the algorithm and post what the algorithm wants, not what you want. In other words, there's not really that soul in the content you create a lot of the time. Now, to be fair, it's not as gloomy as it made it out to be. There are a lot of great sides to this, and one of the greatest things here is that the barrier to entry for real creativity is lower than it ever was. You don't need an expensive camera or have to know how to use expensive professional video editing software just to tell a story. You have the tool in your pockets now. You can reach people all over the world and tell your story, and you can be you without having to be distracted by all the expensive camera equipment and learning how to use any of that stuff. Rather, you can just focus on your story now. And I truly believe for people that want to create meaningful content like music, art, stories, commentary, this is truly an incredible time to be alive. And it's not just growing creators like, for example, me, but also activists, small businesses. All of them have access to this creativity as well. So why is this weird? Well, the problem's not necessarily that anybody and everybody can become a creator now. If anything, that's mostly actually a good thing. The problem comes when the pressure to make yourself a brand blends into every single part of life. Even the small moments that should just be genuine, unfiltered, and frankly real. I mean, like, when you think of it, if every moment is low-key seen as, can I post this on social media, would it go viral? It starts to really mess with your brain. And if everything is content now, when do you actually just live? And the weird thing is, this doesn't only affect influencers, it affects average people like me and you too. I mean, a lot of normal people, whether they're on trips or just spending time with their friends, will now spend a lot of time setting up shots, staging moments, crafting captions, and just trying to make the perfect aesthetic for our feed. I mean, just think about it. How many beautiful moments do we never fully live because half of our brain is always thinking, should I post this? Will this specific follower like this? Will it potentially go viral on TikTok? Right? So when we're thinking about a lot of that stuff, we're not really fully living in the moment, and that truly is kind of sad. I guess what I'm trying to say is we're so busy documenting our lives that we actually forget to live them sometimes. And moreover, it just keeps going on in this chain reaction where the viewer or the audience sees the influencer's post or their lifestyle reels or whatever, and they start to put this unreal expectation against themselves based off of that reel, even though that reel was heavily filtered, heavily edited, and it was kind of like a pick and choose type of thing. I guess what I'm trying to say is when thousands of people see those posts, they start to create this unreal expectation for how their life should be, and we can't really at the end of the day achieve that heavily filtered, perfectly curated version of life. And when we don't achieve that expectation, honestly, it's not the healthiest way for us to live. So, everybody's an influencer now. And honestly, the internet kind of made creating easier. But at the same time, it also made being real harder. But honestly, maybe it's time that we actually consider taking a step back. Maybe we should start actually living without having to worry about posting. Maybe we should all just start living.